In my last lecture, I made the significant statement that the subjective self was and must be the universal self because God is infinite in nature. And being infinite, there can be no other creative power but He. The great importance of this does not dawn upon us all at once. It gradually unfolds as we become more aware. Perhaps it didn't dawn upon you the completeness and the importance of that statement, that the subjective self is the universal self. Because God is infinite in nature. When we realize this, we will see later on tonight why this subjective self gives us what we think and desire. It gives us, without reproach, whatever we desire. Whatsoever ye ask, God shall be given unto you. But this also applies not only to the good things, but the things that are less good. According to the attitude of mind and what kind of mind we have, so we will find that the subjective self will express that outwardly again. A pig can live in a pigsty, but it doesn't know it's living in a pigsty, because it's habitual for a pig to live in a pigsty. And as many people's minds are just the same. They're not aware that their minds are like pigsties, not until such time as they begin to analyze their thoughts and feelings. And then they find that their minds are pigsties. Unless you become aware then of your own thoughts, the things that are real and the things that are not real, you will never be able to get from the subjective self or the Father the things that you truly desire. The mind of man has been divided into various compartments. We have the conscious, the subconscious, superconscious, soul, spirit, etc., etc. If we're not careful, we get lost in terms and separations. The greatest of all mental sciences of all time consider the mind of man as a reflector of the mind of God, and through this realization all things were possible. I and the Father are one. And what I want to do in this lecture is to correlate our present day findings with the truth of the prophets, and to show that they knew much more than we do with our modern jingle. The mind of man is being divided into so many compartments. Each part is being given a certain look over, and this is said to be certain things which applies to mankind. We know all these things, but unless we are able to see the whole, we will never be able to live in the whole. When you divide yourselves into many particular compartments, you're creating separation. If you can consider these words, I and the Father are one, not from the viewpoint of a platitude or a saying, but to deeply understand them, then your mind will change. The orbit of the mind will change. There will be a distinctive mental attitude towards life that will give you the things that you really desire. It says, that no one knoweth the many things that the Father has in store for those who love him. But this knowledge will be of no value to us unless there is inspiration from within revealing the great power of the truth that is so fervently sought by all, so much so that you would give all you have to possess it. It is here for you as the free gift of God, for you to accept now and act upon it. And this is creative genius. Our creative genius is this capability and our ability to act in accordance with this divine mind. To become aware, not outside the mind, but inside that mind, and that mind inside us. Then our thoughts are ranged along those lines. You see then that this is our creative genius. That it is as simple as this is hard to realize. But the fact that it is so is yet only recognized by a few. And it is this same truth and the only truth, and this is what you are seeking. Most people fail to see this, so they run after some new truth, some new idea. They are perpetually concerned about what is truth, what is God. They can only know this when they come out of their mental fog, a prison of their own making. Clear thinking is pure thinking. Reaction is not thinking. Reaction to things external to oneself is conforming, reacting to conditions, creating beliefs, thoughts in the negative, fear, emotion, stress, and strain. Creative ability, creative genius is when pure thinking begins. And pure thinking can only begin when you begin to realize this truth, that the universal self is a subjective self in you. And that there is no separation. That this subjective self in you is real in nature and is universal in nature and has been given all power in heaven and on earth. It is the power that Jesus speaks about, and the power that gave him the wonderful expression of thought and genius. These words are really the words of a genius. And when I repeat some of them this evening, we will see truly the most wonderful expression of eternity. In modern phraseology, we have the conscious and subconscious, objective and subjective, inner and outer. These terms mean the same thing. It is said that what we think is accepted by the subconscious, subjective or inner mind, which reflects out again what we think. This is perfectly true. And the point I want to draw your attention to is that this being so, there can be no separation between the inner and the outer, and the subjective and the objective. Now the subjective, which I will call it in future the cause of my mention of it in this way in my last lecture, and revealing it to be the universal self. This intelligence, having control of the body through the nervous system, outfixes what we think and feel. Thoughts then become active in our body through a chemical change in the tissue structure. Not only do they affect us personally, but other people and circumstances. This has been proved over and over again through experiment, and some people have had the good fortune to discern it for themselves. Majority of people who have something wrong with them are in a state of consternation until such time as they become aware of what the trouble is. From my experience, I have found so many people suffering from very minute trouble, small indeed, like a pimple on the face. They're afraid that it may be cancer, and the whole of their mind is in a turmoil. Why they even sweat, to go to bed and they can't sleep, to walk the floor. Next day they rush in and say, "Doctor, what is this? What is this?" Immediately I tell them what it is, and it has no malignancy about it whatsoever. And I assure them the truth of what I say, their minds become free. Here then is a state of consciousness, a mental state brought about by a belief, a supposition, superstition, ignorance. When we realize this truth, that the individual becomes aware of himself as a reality, and as all substance under the control of the subjective mind, his thinking will be on a plane accordingly. Therefore, he will bring about that which he desires. In nearly every case of any physical illness, there is also the mental counterpart to it. And very often that mental counterpart is 90%, while the physical is only 10%. There's very often mental agitation, and the bridge of the whole of the trouble. The pains and everything passes away, which shows you definitely and completely that here we have again a mind that is unstable, is not aware of its own reality. The mind of man can be the reflection of the mind of God, and this is what Jesus knew, what the prophets knew. And that's what you should know, that your mind can be and is the reflector of the mind of God. In many cases, when people come to me with their minds in this deranged state, I become calm and peaceful in myself. I don't believe in these things. I know how difficult it is for the mind to be subdued. And very often I do not speak a single word, but in my deep thought I say, Father, you do not suffer from this, neither can your child. And without a single word being said, a change takes place in the mental attitude of that individual. How then have I touched the strings that are deep in the soul of that individual? I have touched them because I have touched the truth, the living truth, the mind of man can be a reflector of the mind of God. Mind is a comprehensive term and is very misleading when we want to know the real truth. In one way we speak of the mind of God in which everything must exist and nothing can exist apart from it because there is nothing else but the mind of God. Therefore the mind of man must exist in the mind of God, for it can't exist apart from the mind of God. That's true reasoning. And when we begin to reason these things, we begin to reason these other things that are of no value to us away. And the mind becomes more stable. The consciousness becomes away. Mind of God is always. There is nothing else but the mind of God. That is a truth. All exists in Him and nothing can exist apart from Him. I often have told you that. I wonder if you believe it. I wonder if you really know that it's true. I often wonder myself if you do believe it is true because you act in absolutely distinct opposites. We also have the term mind to represent a substance that is pliable and is acted upon by thought. This substance called mind is also matter. The same substance is lowered in degree of vibration. This substance has no power of its own. It is a substance in which our thoughts manifest and form accordingly. So you see that unless we understand what we're talking about, our terms will lead us entirely astray. But I'm going to give you a firm foothold so that you can in future obey that divine mind, so that your mind becomes a reflector of it. There is one mind in the whole universe, the mind of God. No one can deny that. I am the only one, and there is none other besides me. Out of me and by me and through me, everything has been created, and everything must remain in me, and I must remain in everything. That is the Creator. This substance then in which God creates everything is His own mind, or we would call His own body. It's a pliable substance, but it's invisible to the physical eye. It's known to science as electronic nature. A substance that is pliable and fills boundless space, and there is nowhere where it is not. You cannot place a pinpoint anywhere except place it in the substance, and this substance must penetrate everything. There is nothing in existence except this substance penetrates it and supports it. Science says that this electronic substance fills boundless space and there is no outside it. Everything must exist in it and of it. Then, in this substance, then, there is something that takes place. A consciousness. Something that is created in that substance which creates form. And immediately, these electrons form different groups of atoms. These atoms form groups of cells. These cells form groups of organs, and these organs form groups of individuals and other things. This form takes place in the mind of God of that mindful substance, and it is this creative power that is behind it all, and that is the consciousness or the awareness that you have and I have. I am alive. My thought is the product of my own consciousness. And according to the state of my consciousness, so will my thought be. Then what is your state of consciousness? Ask yourself, what is your state of conscience? Is it about the petty rubbish that exists in amongst you from time to time, or are you steeped in it? Is your mind like a pigsty, or is it something that is glorious? Is your consciousness aware of the truth? Will you reflect the truth? Ask yourself that question. You will find out how true it is. The origin of all things underlying thought is consciousness, a consciousness that knows all and knows how, a consciousess that has intelligence as an inseparable partner, and the activity to produce that which becomes form. We are told by science that matter separate from energy does not exist. This energy is none other than intelligence in action, and intelligence is the active principle of consciousness, knowing. Knowing then is the power behind everything, and the state of consciousness depends upon your own knowing and awareness of I and the Father are one. That is, the state itself can be none other than the universe. And whatever you are, so it will produce for you. It is therefore true what the prophet said, that God becomes the things he makes. And it is this unity that all the prophets realized and stated throughout their writings and faith. Do we see it in our modern jingle? Of course we don't. We see separation, the rattlings of immature minds. Intellectualism run mad. It was the teaching of the Master, and also has been found by others to be true, that it is not affirmation, nor by violent mental effort which carries us along our desired goal, but rather a state of consciousness determined by our awareness of the truth of the Father, whoever remaineth within doeth the work. Yes, it's quite true. Many of you with a mind filled with rubbish, with an attitude of mind that does not give you the things you truly desire, which cannot give you those things, yet you try to affirm these things and deny other things. And by some more violent mental effort to try to produce these things. How can it be when your mental attitude is so stupid? It is not by affirmation, not by violent mental effort, not by denial, but by a state of consciousness. That state of consciousness is always there. Father, whoever remaineth within me does the work. I often thought to myself, when people have said, how is it you work from morning till night? How is you lecture these lectures, yet you go on day after day and you seem younger by year and stronger by day? Well, the whole truth lies in this thing. It is the Father who doeth the work. I don't worry about your troubles. Don't you think that I'm worrying about your troubles. I know perfectly well how elusive they are and how they are stuck into your mind. I know all about it. But I know this, that God does not suffer from. And I am satisfied when I know this truth, that he does not suffer from them. I am not affected by it. Thought then is the product of the consciousness, and the state of consciousness determines the quality of our thinking. Therefore you will soon find out whether a person has a state of consciousness worth culturing or copying, if necessary, or one that is useless by the things that they say and what they are speaking. If our minds are like a pigsty, then you know perfectly well that the state of consciousness they have is similar. And that state of consciousness cannot bring in the things that they truly desire. Therefore, it is for you, not for me, to examine your own mind, because you can do it better, and you will see for yourself what state of consciousness you have by the quality of your own thinking. And that determines your life here, as well as it after you are blessed here. Thus then is our spiritual energy carried into operation and is given form through growth by the creative power itself being universal in nature, intelligent in action. When we plant a seed in the ground, the universal intelligence becomes active to reproduce its kind. The seed we plant in the ground and the seed of thought we sow in our minds are affected in a similar way, produce that kind. If we are unaware of the truth of our being, thoughts of fear and uncertainty spring up. They become the weeds that choke the growth of what we truly desire. Remember that thoughts that seeds in the plane of mind become active through the creative principle, the Father who doeth the work. All is mind and thought is mind in action. This is our creative genius. Is there any other creative genius? I can't see it. Neither can anyone else. And the truth is set us free. So you'll soon see when what we ourselves have created to prevent the growth of the things we truly desire. It's only by seeing these things ourselves we can eliminate them. But, I said again, a pig lives in a pigsty. He doesn't know he lives in a pigsty. It's habitual for him to do so. If it's habitual for you to live in a mind like a pigsty, then you will have to learn how to recognize it. And once you recognize it, you will soon get out of it. But not until you do your own discernment can you ever get out of it. You will still live in it. Wondering, and you will still be the same as you were when you began. I tell you this, God has everything for you, but you yourself have to cooperate with Him so that He can give you these things that you truly desire. A state of consciousness is that what determines the quality of your thought and nothing else. Therefore affirmations are useless. Violent mental efforts are very often contradictory. It's like we have planets revolving round the sun. What would happen if two of those planets came close to one another and collided with one another? There would be some smash-up, would there not? I tell you, that's taking place in your mind all the time. With your attitude of mind, you create such concept that is floating around in your mind. Then you create a violent affirmation in the opposite direction to counteract it. And then you wonder why there's an explosion in your yourself. Listen to me. A state of consciousness determines the quality of your thought. And that state of consciousness means awareness of your own being, awareness of the present, and nothing else. If we would gain true freedom, we must see Christ in operation, which is the wisdom of God in man. And no one can take this wisdom away from us, for we have inherited it, being born in his likeness, because God is infinite in nature. Only the weeds of ignorance will hide it for a while. But the inevitable must happen. The whole mental orbit of man will change, must change. Thus the whole composition of the mind will change. All will recognize the fact that it is impossible to change the universal law of life, not even through prayer, through denials or affirmation. It means then a recognition, a state of consciousness, where you cooperate with the divine mind. For it is the Father within who doeth the work. We can never analyze our cosmic consciousness. We can only live in its completeness, its wholeness, in its indivisibility. I and the Father are one. You can never gain a workful understanding of the Father who lives in parts. But life has no parts. There is only one. You may spend the rest of your life in studying the parts of your mental makeup, yet this will never lead you to the way how to make intelligent use of the whole. And our business of living is to understand the intelligent expression of the whole. If then you understand this truth, that you are myself and I am yourself, that I am in you and you are in me, and what you do to yourself, what you say about yourself, what you take from yourself, what you give to yourself. Let me tell you this, that the storehouse of God is waiting to empty itself out into those who recognize this truth. But any word you say denies your conscious awareness of this truth. Why? The very word you speak denies the very consciousness that should be yours. Because you speak in separation. Speak about other people as if you were different to yourself. Someone away from you. Fact is this, that you have no conscious awareness of your oneness with God. And you listen to me. Thinking that this listening to me will give you what you need. This will not give you what you need. You must do it yourself. And you must recognize this truth. Become consciously aware of it. And your awareness will give you that mental attitude and that power. It is creative genius. That creative genius cannot come in any other way except through whole and complete understanding. In John 17, verse 1 to 8, Moffat's translation will read, "So Jesus spoke. Then lifting his eyes to heaven, he said, Father, now the time has come. Glorify thy Son, that thy Son may glorify thee. Since thou hast granted him power over all flesh, to give eternal life to all whom thou hast given to him. And this is life eternal, that they know thee, the only real God, and him presence with the glory which I enjoyed in thy presence before the world began. I have made my name known to them whom thou hast given to me from the world. Thine they were, and thou givest them to me, and they have held to thy word. They know now that whatever thou hast given me comes from thee. For I have given them the words thou givest me, and they have received them. They are now sure that I come from thee, and they believe that thou didst send me. Is it not the same with every person who becomes the Christ? The Christ is born in every child that lives. This Christ is the wisdom of God in you and me. This is the created Jesus. These are the words of a great Jesus. By his deep understanding of the wholeness of things, he recognized that eternity was ever present. Glorify me in thy presence with the glory which I enjoyed in thy presence before the world began. What am I? I can see the clearness of his state. I can see clearly that applies to me and to you. Our Father, who art in heaven. Our Father, he says, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We are shown that to serve is to receive, and if we are to become the channels of giving from that inexhaustible supply, we must not be clogged by superstition, by egoism, or separation. The egoist is the one, I think, who mostly clogs the machinery. I did this, and I did that, and self-praise has no honor. That's all of that. Those who recognize that the Father doeth the work, and above this egoism, recognize that there is something greater. That puny little I know some teachers and schools that are continually talking about themselves. I did this, and I did that. They do not even know the truth, nor the first part of the truth. First of all, that the I must be submerged in the whole. The Father must do the work. They have become liars and hypocrites. And the sooner we realize that, the better. That for you who will go out into this world one day, you'll be free from that. You'll neither be a hypocrite nor a liar, but you'll understand the truth, your own being. That state of consciousness which will be the quality of your thinking and your thought, not a mind that has fixed. It is the same with our bodies. If the eliminating process are clogged, we get sick. We must not clog the outgoing process. There must be freedom of incoming and outgoing. Then the supply grows into a mighty flow through divine ideas. There is the keynote that we should realize this wonderful truth, so that we become channels to which the Father does the work. This is the issue. When we have lost ourselves, then the Father does the work. The infinite intelligence moves silently into action and resolves away every error, When we seek Him before anything else, we will then know ourselves to be the starting point of every thought. And by knowing this, we will bring into being our own inheritance of health, harmony, and abundance. Let me see then, I'll speak to you on this matter once more. When we seek Him before anything else, we will then know ourselves to be the starting point of every thought. Do you realize what that means? And by knowing this, we will bring into being our own inheritance of health, harmony, and abundance. First of all, we must see things that are useless, that are not lasting. We must give up our limitations, our weaknesses, our self-pity, our jealousies, our enslavement. Means that we no longer believe in them now, and the whole orbit of our thoughts changes. We become aware of our divine nature, our real nature, our inherited, created beauty. The most wonderful thing that ever happens to an individual is to become aware of his own thinking, our own, discern the thought. One thing I must point out to you is that you must not struggle with any thought or try to banish any thought from your mind. That is worse than useless. What is necessary for you to do is to discern the thought, to look at it and see it for what it is. Then it will dissolve away before the brilliance of your own conscience, the awareness of your own divine nature. That these thoughts will become just as if a thought where it's going across a windless sky. You see them pass, leaving no trace. Your consciousness is still aware. It's not affected by them. Do not struggle with them, nor give them an abode, but know them for what they are. The error will pass away from your mind, and you will be free. But as long as you struggle and try to banish these thoughts that enter into your mind, you can never be free. Freedom does not come that way. Controlling your thoughts is contraction. Discerning your thoughts is dissolving them. Having an understanding of your own conscience, where beginning and end of all things. The beginning and end of all things. We are ourselves the only obstruction to the reaping of the mighty riches of the kingdom in which we dwell. God's wisdom is projected through the visible form, and this wisdom manifests through us as we begin to recognize by seeing the true nature of things and not according to mock misconceptions and interpretations. You interpret things by your mortal sense as something that is separated and distinct. It's the abstract that is real. The concrete has no reality, but the majority of people believe that the concrete is the real thing and the abstract is of no value. And I tell you, all concrete things must arise out of the abstract and remain in the abstract, and the abstract is the only power in that concrete thing. And when the concrete thing dissolves away, it dissolves into the abstract, and the abstract always remains. Concrete dissolves away. We are told that we are made in His image and likeness, and through our desires He will make Himself known. In order to understand our true relationship, we must see that it is the same mode of action that takes place. We are therefore similar to Him who made us, and we can only accomplish by Him, for He alone possesses the power to create, to accomplish all things that we ask, provided we never forget our true relationship to Him. I am in the Father. The Father is in me, and me in you. I am listening to a master who says to me, I hope that we all take this lesson to heart. I hope so too. Christianity is taught to the masses is an imposture of the teachings of men whom they profess to follow. But those who have studied these teachings deeply have gained such wonderful knowledge which has given them this intense personal joy and devotion to create not only within themselves but everywhere about them that true happiness obtained from their doing His work. And how true it is. Christianity, we know today, must die before the teachings of Christ. Christianity today is based upon separation. To many, we have even 250 different denominations in Christianity, all fighting, squabbling with one another. Yes, we would cut each other's throats if we got the chance. But the law prevents. It's a most extraordinary thing that the teach or profess to teach the teachings of Jesus. Love thy God with all thy soul, with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. Love thy neighbor as thyself. But unfortunately, the poor devils don't see the truth, so they can't tell. They let the blind lead the blind and all fallen. You can be one thing or the other. You can be a creative genius or a destroyer, or an ordinary weed in the middle of the stream that is buffeted about from side to side. But when you realize that you are the main current of life, the main force of life, because you live in Him and He lives in you, then such understanding gives you inspiration to create. You no longer become just followers, but helpers, creators. It gives you a sense of joy in helping others to see the things that do not matter and are of no value, and revealing the things that are of value are eternal. What then do you want? Things that are value or of no value? Then instead of being a giant of ignorance, you become creative genius. There's a lot of giants of ignorance about. We see them all around the place. In our political era, we see plenty of them. In the business world, we see plenty of them too. But there's no real creative genius. When you are drunk at the source, you long to bring everyone to it. When you are basked in the eternal presence, you will know that all have the same privilege if they could only realize, bask in the presence. And it is, all-pervading genius, thy inspiration has removed the clouds from my mind and heart. My mind is made clear with the breeze of thy intelligence, and my soul is purified with thy hope. Now I behold thee alone, and in my waking state thou art my teacher, my guide, my friend, my creative genius. Oh, may such mind